Hi, my name is Anthony Smith. I'm the Chief Executive of Transport Focus and really pleased to be here today as part of the fantastic Smart Transport Festival. It's a bit like the Glastonbury of transport, isn't it? Everybody's here, there's fringe meetings, there's loads of chat going on. It's really exciting. There's a really good buzz about the place. So it's really, really good to be here. Some of you will know about us. Transport Focus is the independent consumer watchdog for Britain's transport users. Our aim is to make a difference, to make things better. Very much a consumer organisation. We don't tell people how to travel. We're very much into helping make all the modes of transport better. We aim to be useful to all the people like you who are making all the big decisions about transport. And above all else, we try and bring evidence to the table. The details about my last journey are fascinating, but it won't really help you set your policies or business plans. Therefore, we really, really do bring evidence to the table. I think it's very timely now, early June, to be having this discussion as we are slowly moving out of lockdown. Restrictions are changing, still some scares around, but generally looking quite positive. I think overall transport's had a good crisis the last year or so. The roads have kept open, the freight has kept moving, the food has arrived in supermarkets, the medicines have arrived in hospitals. It's been a good crisis for the roads industry. The buses and trains have continued to carry those people who needed to travel to where they needed to get. And I think the image of transport has come out of it all quite well. It's been a terrible crisis in many, many ways, but transport, I think, has had a reasonable crisis. What have we been doing? What we've been trying to do in the last year or so is completely change the way we gather evidence. We used to do a lot of face-to-face talking to people about their last journey experience, their priorities for improvement. We couldn't do all that a year ago, along with everyone else. So we moved to doing what is now weekly survey of 2,000 adults across Great Britain, really gauging the mood of those who are travelling and those who are thinking about travelling more. And it's enabled us over time to gauge just how people are seeing transport through all the lockdowns, different government announcements and different restrictions. And it's told us some very, very interesting things. Broadly, those who have been travelling on bus and train, about 8, 9 out of 10 of those were satisfied with how safe it felt, satisfied with the experience. Very much geared around the ability to social distance, very much geared around the cleanliness and the perceived cleanliness of the services, and also very importantly, other people wearing or not wearing face coverings and wearing them properly throughout journeys has a big impact on how safe people feel. But it's been a very useful barometer, that's what we've called it, a barometer of traveller and non-traveller opinion. It's all on our website, go and have a look, and it's updated every week now to give you a sense of just how the passenger temperature is going. We've supplemented that, we put in place some online communities, some online focus groups around rail, bus and road. That enabled us to dive into more detail into lots of different areas, including cleanliness on trains, how people feel about bus services at the moment, how we can recover and get more passengers back on bus, an awful lot of bespoke research, again, all on our website, all available. And we also have a standing transport user panel, almost 20,000 users now across Great Britain who give us pretty instant feedback about their experiences, initiatives, plans or whatever. Very useful, very powerful tool. And increasingly we're also starting to try and segment our research into different types of passenger, different types of road user. Not everybody has the same feelings, especially at the moment. And what we've tried to do is to break down the traditional kind of commuter business leisure segments into more nuanced about how people are feeling, whether they're anxious and affected, but still travelling, whether they're reluctant returners, they don't feel they have much choice to go back to public transport, people who have just confidently carried on, quite frankly. And it's very interesting seeing the size of these segments and seeing how people shift between the segments and as their confidence increases, as they take more transport, or as their confidence wanes if they take transport and they don't like it. So again, I think having a segmentation approach to this is very important. In this pandemic, everybody's got slightly different feelings, everybody's got personal experiences, people want different things, and we're very much trying to bring useful evidence to the party around that. And we've got new research coming as well the whole time. Keep an eye on our website. Lots of focus on accessibility. It's been pretty tough for disabled passengers in the last few months, and will continue to be so for quite a while. And also we've seen all the skirmishes about low traffic neighbourhoods and that most contested of things, Britain's road space and the allocation of it to various people, various modes of transport. And we've done a piece of work that'll be out soon, talking to major stakeholders about allocation of road space, just trying to draw out some themes to see how we can help this really vexed topic where I've seen more vitriol and more anger expended than on any other transport topic I've ever seen in the last 20 odd years I've been working in transport. So huge body of evidence we're bringing to the table. Please go and have a look at it. Secondly, what are passengers saying? Well, it's interesting. As the passenger numbers increase, of course, people have got concerns about social distancing, or people have got concerns about face coverings, are coming into contact with more people. It's less easy to socially distance. And so our research is really trying to focus on how passengers are feeling, what the reports from the front line are, just exactly what the passenger heat is out there on bus and rail as passenger numbers rise. Hopefully socially distanced measures might change, which will free up some more space, make things easier, might make people feel a bit more relaxed. But I think the ingrained habits that so many of us have got into in the last few months, and the very clear messaging about don't do things, is going to last for a while. It's going to take time to break down. And I think government and operators just need to be honest. It's going to be difficult to socially distance for a while in lots of cases. Therefore, you're going to have to make your own decisions, mitigate your own risks, take your own choices. Hopefully things will change soon, but it's going to be a bit of a messy period the next few months. I think what operators and the government can do is make sure that the information that's out there about services and about how crowded they are can be is available and useful. We've done some work on this, analysing train bus company websites, some really good new stuff out there, and the shift to digital and the increase in information during the pandemic has been very powerful. And all of this is feeding into a strong feedback loop to help decision makers. And of course, right now, there's some big decisions to be made about transport. We've got the Williams-Shapps rail reforms out, and the process of reform of the rail industry started. I think it's very positive. Having one point of accountability for the overall train set and having accountability at a local level for services is something that our research in the run-up to the Williams Rail Review really indicated people wanted. So it's good to see that. It's the beginning of a long process. It's the beginning of a long process of fares reform as well, which I think is very important. And we're going to just keep an eye on the walk-up railway. We like the walk-up railway. Britain's railway is fantastically frequent and it's becoming increasingly flexible, and you want fares to match that. The bus strategy, again, great to see bus actually being talked about in positive terms for the first time for many years. Some money behind the bus strategy, a really ambitious pace of change in terms of the bus improvement plans. We're going to be helping out by hopefully supplying the passenger satisfaction data behind some of those plans, helping out with those passenger charters, which should give passengers more confidence about to choose bus, and also helping out with just reporting back the sort of dashboard of how bus service improvement plans are working in particular regions, and hopefully building on the really good work we've done in places like the West Midlands, where my colleague Linda McCord chairs the Bus Alliance and helps make sure that the different parties, the local authorities and the bus companies, have one ultimate overall aim, which is to focus on the passenger. And we've got passenger satisfaction embedded as a measure in the alliance there, which I think is absolutely right. In all of the bus and rail reforms, I think it's going to be very interesting to keep the best. There's some really good train companies out there. There's some really good bus companies out there. They are incentivized to go and chase revenue. And I think they need to be still doing that in future. They need to make sure they're chasing more passengers and chasing more revenue, improving their services the whole time, and incentivized to do that. On the roads, huge amount happening, obviously with electric vehicles, very important. We've started to do some work on electric vehicle charging on the strategic road network. Very interesting. Of course, cost is a big issue, but I think also anxiety is that it's not so much range anxiety that people have about electric vehicles, so much as anxiety about the whole thing. How do you do it? If somebody said to me tomorrow, you've got to drive to Edinburgh in an electric car, I wouldn't have a clue. Wouldn't have a clue how to top the thing up or to make it work. And so I think it's a big sort of information gap and a sense of what is the roadmap to get us to 2030 and the ceasing of sales of new diesel and new diesel and petrol vehicles. So lots more work around that. Lots more work around the disabled experience of recharging as well, because the chance to get the electric recharging network much more accessible than the old fossil fuel one is there. And I think climate change, the health crisis hopefully is going to go away soon. The climate change isn't. The climate change crisis isn't. And the need to decarbonise and shift behaviours is ever, ever present. I think decarbonising is easier in a way because it has less effect on transport users. They don't have to do quite so much themselves. Behaviour change is much more difficult. We've just finished some focus group work on sustainability, transport and consumers. It's very sobering stuff. People are very, very wedded to cars. It's not surprising. They're great. They're relatively affordable. They're very convenient, very strong offering. And we've spent the last 100 years building our society around it. And I think shifting away from car use is going to require a lot of nudge on behaviour change and perhaps potentially some carrot in the future. In the meantime, it's about cost and convenience. That's what drives the choices that people are making about transport. We've said this for years, we continue to say it, cost and convenience. If it's more value for money, if it's more convenient to take the bus, people will do it. And so I think the best way that the transport industry can save the planet, frankly, is to run the buses and trains on time, make them the best consumer choice, get people to choose them, get people to try them, make it become the obvious way to get round. You can nudge people, you can coerce people, but people don't really like that. I think this is very much a consumer debate. Make it the choice. And I think that's the way that we will eventually get behaviour change. So thank you very much for listening today. It's been great to talk to you all. Happy to take part in the debate later. And of course, if you've got any further questions, do please drop me a line at Transport Focus and be very happy to help out. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye.